Hey, my name is Brooke Allen, and I'm a bassoonist with the United States Coast Guard Band. I'm just going to talk to you for a few minutes about my warm-up routine. When you're warming up, you want to keep a few things in mind. You want to accomplish actually warming up your instrument because we're starting out flat, and as the instrument gets warm, it's going to go a little higher in pitch. We want to get our fingers warmed up and ready to move fast. Our fingering system is obviously very complicated on the bassoon, and we want to get our air flowing. And also, you want to use this time to just kind of check in and get aware of what's happening with you and your instrument and your reed, because obviously every day that you play the bassoon, things might feel a little bit different. Make sure you soak your reed up at least 3 minutes, maybe 5 minutes, especially in the winter months, or if you haven't played the reed in a while, it can really dry out. It'll continue to dry out for days on end. So if you haven't played it in a while, you want to make sure the reed is nice and soaked so that the tip pops open and you have no trouble making a sound. I actually haven't played today, so I usually just start out on a middle C, an easy note, go down from there, make sure all my keys are working. So I'm going to start with a chromatic scale. Okay, so my reed is vibrating a little bit. It's a little open because I soaked it for quite a while. But as I play on it, I expect it to close down a little bit. And the next thing I'm gonna do is play my scales. So however your teacher has taught you to play scales, this should be your warm-up. But scales are so important for note formation exercises. You're gonna be checking for response and intonation up and down the range. You wanna get your air going, so you wanna play your scale nice and loud. It's best to use a metronome. This way you don't get to decide when the note starts, the metronome decides. So I usually just put it on 60, and if I was getting ready for region band auditions or something, I would play the scale in the rhythm that they've taught. But I like to play my scale from all the way at the bottom of the bassoon to the top of my range. So let's say I'm going to play in D major today. I'm going to start on my low B natural, and I'm going to tongue 4/16 notes at 60. So I go all the way to the top of my range and turn around. Even if the notes don't speak at the very top, I still practice all the way up there because that's where the fingerings get hard. Then I'm going to go my next iteration of the scale. I'm going to start on the second lowest note in D major on the bassoon, which is C sharp. And I'm going to slur 3, tongue 1. So my fingers are starting to get a little more even through the range now, and the instrument is warming up a little bit. I'm going to do another scale starting on low D. This time I'm going to slur 2 and tongue 2. That one was a little rough, so I'm going to try it again. I'm trying to get the volume the same up and down the instrument and the quality of the articulation the same. So really trying to get that reed to work for me the way I want it to. My air still isn't flowing quite as well as I want it to. My next iteration is going to be slurring 4 notes. I'm going to start on low E. So every scale I'm starting on a different note so that I'm not always turning around on the same note. I'm not always hitting the same note on the beat. I can get that one a little more even. So I'm going to try again, really smoothing out the air and blowing through all the notes as evenly as I can. So that's my scale practice. If I was warming up to practice for a practice session on my own, I would probably spend a lot longer on those scales. I would play each of them maybe 5 or 6 times and make sure I try to get them like really perfect before I go on. And this gets my fingers in shape and I can work on my technique, work on smoothing out across the break every day, every time I pick up the bassoon, and that'll get me ready to work on the repertoire. I just wanted to recommend one more exercise. If you're someone who has trouble making a big sound on the bassoon, because let's face it, it's like not a naturally really resonant instrument, you really want to work on freeing up your air as you blow into the horn. So you might notice that some notes on the bassoon vibrate more readily than others. So for me, like a low D is a really big open sound, and especially when I'm playing it in tune, I have to really open up in my chest, drop the belly, blow through the instrument, open the throat, lower the tongue, everything you can do to make as big a sound as possible. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start on F in the middle of the bass clef and slur from F down to low D, trying to keep that open air. Even if it's not the most beautiful thing that you're ever going to hear, I'm going to slur from F and then I'm going to go down chromatically, playing low D in between. So keeping that, reminding my body of what that open, flowing sound feeling is. I feel like I have a nice big tone and I'm ready to go play in my rehearsal. All right, take care, everybody.